Ladies and gentlemen, this is a word that you're very familiar with, and I'm sure every one of you has its own, his or her own unique way to deal with it. So, I woke up this morning, and the first thing that came on my mind was, am I having temperature? Because it is a season of cold and flu. Yes. Then, so I took up medicine pills for it, and I dealt with it. Then I got ready and started my bike. And while I was driving my motorcycle, I realized that there are many cars on the road, so there might be a chance or a risk of any mishap. So I drive a little slowly. So then I reached the nearest ATM, and I obviously availed the services there. One thing I noticed that there was a lock on the ATM door. That was for our own protection. So the point is, there are many risks that we face in our daily lives, and each one of has his own perspective to it. So, what is risk? According to Chartered Insurance Institute, there is no specific definition of the term risk. It's all about how you perceive the term risk. In a very simple manner, you analyze it. You analyze this situation as low risk or high risk. Take any example from your life. Like there's rainfall outside. So, what could be the worst thing that could happen to you? You will get wet clothes. So, you will take out your umbrella and you will deal with it. But the same situation, rainfall, is not a very good situation for a businessman who has a huge stock outside his shop, and the rain might cause him some serious financial damage. So, most of the time in our lives, this risk assessment is very casual or informal, like intuition based or maybe past experience based. So, the saying is, what's the worst that could happen? And we analyze the situation. So, these are some bullet points that came to our mind when we try to define the term risk. Number one, the possibility of an unfortunate occurrence, any mishap. A mother would feel a risk that his children will be safe at home. Any doubt concerning the outcome of the situation, will Pakistan win the match or not? Okay. The unpredictability associated to the performance, something that is not predictable, or you can say inevitable, that is bound to happen. The possibility of a loss. If I start my own business, what would happen? Will I suffer loss? That is a risk. And lastly, or even a chance of gain. That is also a risk. Like in stock market, when we invest in a particular share, there might be a risk or a chance of gain. We can sum these terms that goes around the unpredictability element that is inherent in the term risk, which takes us to the term risk management. Now, what is risk management in a layman's term? In the most simplest way, it is a three-stage process. Number one, risk identification. When you take up any situation, you try to come out or you identify the risk associated to it. Like this room is full of many things. This chandelier could fall down, or there is a risk that there can be a short circuit in this electrical board. So, discovering the risk and any potential hazard or threat that is associated to it. The second step in risk management is to analyze the risk. Now, this is a technical part. When we analyze something, we take a past record, any past trend that defines the future trend in terms of analysis. And the third step of risk management is the control step. Now, you can say that you can't you can't completely control any risk. So, what is risk control? It's also a perspective or the attitude that one have against the term risk. The first would be risk seeking. Are you a risk seeking person? Are you a risk seeking person? Do you take risks? Okay. That's a good one. So, risk-seeking persons feel happy to carry risk themselves or to minimize it by taking financial steps or any precautionary measures. Like we lock up we keep our precious stuff in a locked room. Second type of persons are risk-averse persons. They are the smart ones, or you can say feel more happy by minimizing or transferring the burden of risk from their shoulders to another person. And this is a perfect example of what we call an insurance contract, in which the risk is technically or contractually transferred. The risk remains itself a risk, but it is transferred from myself to the insurance company. So, this is a world of changing times. Back then, the events of Titanic and many other great balls of fire and World Trade Centers, we were not very, you can say, we were not very prepared for all these events. But now, risk management is a perspective, and we can really be prepared for things to come. Thank you.